Okay, hello. It is now time for your reading. I have not changed. I am cold. It is late at night and it's breezy now. So I've got another top on to keep me a bit warm. And yeah, I really wanted to follow suit with your reading, in the same fashion I did mine. But Spirit was very clear that he wanted me to pick a category for you, a life category. And that category that stood out to me intuitively was career. So we are here today for me to read about your career. And Spirit is encouraging me to be truthful with you about where I was. As ever, I was like, I can't speak to his career. Like, what the heck? How am I going to get an accurate message across? And I've had to just talk to myself and be like, you covered health and fitness. You began that reading not having clarity, or no, it wasn't even clarity, not having confidence about being able to speak to that category, and you did. Obviously, you, Justin, are the gauge in this. You know how well I spoke to that, but Spirit assures me that I'm doing okay. I'm doing fine. Okay, he says you're doing more than that. You're doing good. You're doing great. You're doing great, he's saying. Okay, so the stones, I have been advised only to pick 2 stones, crystals today. And, with it being your career, my mind went straight to citrine for abundance. Oops, I thought that was really stereotypical, but Spirit was like, yeah, go with it. And then I went with moonstone to ward off those negative energies and to really just keep that positive, that good energy flowing, because I believe there are a lot of changes afoot for you, to be honest, and I want that to be the case. I want there to be that negativity just pushed away, so you have a really seamless experience. Right, that's enough talking. I have shuffled all of the cards, but I would like to give them another shuffle. Now this deck, I'm not going to, and you'll have to trust me on this, that I haven't peeked at them. I really haven't, and asked the Lord. He says she hasn't. Of course I know that, duh, tell him. But this one stood out to me. It's just kind of sitting askew. So I'm going to turn it over without further ado, and that's the Hanged Man. Oh, okay, so that's interesting. Obviously I've got them the wrong way around, because he shouldn't be like that, he'll be like that, because I wasn't sure. I didn't want to risk seeing the back of the deck, so we can safely take from that that is about concerning your career. Be prepared to look at things differently. This is the guy who's suspended from a tree by his ankle. He's upside down. But he's also feeling quite at peace with that, and he's actually getting some enlightenment from that. I know we have pulled this card for you at some point in the past. So yeah, my encouragement, my word towards you concerning your career is be willing to consider things differently, to look at things differently, and literally turn things on their head. Because maybe there's something you want to do, right? But you can't see how you can do it in that exact way you want to do it. Don't give up on it. Don't give up on the heart of what you want or want to achieve, but consider what's the other ways I could do it. And I'm reminded of one of my own stories from my life, and Spirit's encouraging me to share it. Before I started at university, I had spent my college years, so that's ages between 16 and 18, working at Tesco part-time. I worked on counters, serving people at the deli counter, so hams, salamis, that kind of thing, right? And when it was time to go to university, so that was me leaving London, where I'd been born and raised, and going to a complete other city, Lincoln. And I had it in my head that, yeah, I want to work in retail, because I'd already done that. And hey, let me inquire at Tesco. And I did, and they did not have any jobs. Now, I didn't think to look beyond Tesco. That was very much my comfort zone. Being in Lincoln, I was totally out of my comfort zone and completely unwilling to think of working anywhere else. I just wouldn't, and I didn't. And in fact, it's in hindsight I've realized that, girlfriend, by working at Tesco, by leading you to that job, because God did lead me to that job, he opened me up to get work experience, valuable work experience in a city that has a number of supermarkets within walking distance. I could have been working at a number of them, and even one was a bus ride away, Asda. So I'm seeing your scenario with your career in that same way. You know, maybe you want to work in retail, you know, to use my example, but there aren't any vacancies at Tesco. Don't stop there. Check out the other supermarkets. There are others. And for me, you know, Lidl was there. There was, what's the other one? Morrison's. They were within easy walking distance. We just have to open our eyes. And then here's the whole other thing. Why not leave supermarkets altogether and go work at Debenhams? I had a friend who was working at Debenhams, right? It's still retail. You could still be working a till, as me, of course. My point is, don't get stuck. Don't hem yourself in. You're being called to freedom. Freedom on every level of your life. If you're ever feeling hemmed in, like you can't do something that you really want to, just know that it's a perception. Just know that it's a time and an opportunity for you to turn things on their head. Literally, you know, this is you ordinarily like, oh, let me go hang upside down and see things from another way, right? And identifying the core values, the core desire, the core passion of what you want is going to help you better identify the other opportunities as well. So that's my piece about that. And Spirit is saying, can you get to the abundance card? And I am just remembering to shuffle here because I just want to knock out, I'm just going to knock out the energy from my reading. I did shuffle very mindfully for you, but we are in moment, in situ. So I want to just get your energy up in here and for your career. And I just want to say as well that off the back of my reading, I'm feeling stronger right now because I'm actually taking stock of the woman I truly am, as opposed to the woman I have been my whole life, the woman who believes she's not worthy of love, the woman who believes she's not deserving of love. I've made the conscious choice to connect with and see myself as the woman I am on the inside, the woman who has a desire to learn how to be a wife and a mother, because that's what and who she truly is. And a wife has love. A mother has love in abundance. And I feel strong. Just wanted to say that. So Spirit has said stop. And he's like, check the back of the deck. Generosity. So this is, bear in mind. Actually, Spirit is saying, make this your focus. Generosity. So through your career, how can you express generosity? How can you be generosity? How can you be a tree like this tree that's oozing generosity? And how can you make a tradition and a way out of that? I feel like, and Spirit's encouraging me to say this, I feel like this is a time for you to rewrite how you do your career. This is a time for you to start anew and recreate your values. And you know what, the 2 and 3 reduces to give us, or decodes to give us 5. The number 5 is the number of the Hierophant, who is more a religious figure, and he's all about guidance, dogmatism, you know, just believing and thinking whatever you want without any outside opinions. And you know what, more than that, it's about traditions. I mean, those are the essential meanings, but more than that, it's about traditions. And I would say it's the time to be dogmatic, actually, if I'm totally understanding the word right. I did look it up quite recently, but the opinions of other people are less important than your own opinion and what you believe Spirit/God is saying to you, what is resonating in your heart, in your soul to be and do. Because while it can be good sometimes to seek the opinion or just sound off of trusted voices and minds, when it comes to the nitty-gritty of who you are as a person and what you've come to give, like I have this saying, this concept that people are like trees. You know, we are sown as seeds and planted, And life nurtures us, you know, life has the expectation and the plan for us that we reach maturity where we can, you know, like Jesus talked about in the Bible, give shade, be that tree that gives shade to others, that accommodates the birds, that provides fruit to eat, right? That's generosity. But because so many of us are not following the path, you know, are not following this golden thread of Spirit and his guidance and direction, we don't get to go beyond saplings, you know, if even that, right? So we don't reach maturity. We don't reach that point where we can step back, look at our lives, look at what we do for a living, look at how we show up in the world, and make a conscious and intentional choice about not what we do to make money, but what we do to make an impact, to make our presence felt in a way that others can truly feel it. Generosity. Okay, it's time for me to stop talking on that point, Spirit says. So that's what you need to make your focus as you think. And obviously this all fits in so well with thinking differently, changing your thinking. Okay, Spirit wants me to pick one from the top as well. Oh, wow. Family. How is your career going to impact your family? Or, better yet, okay, hold on. Yeah, how is your career going to impact your family? And, okay, he's saying stop there. Yeah. You need to consider that. And this card for the family, it's numbered 51, which decodes to give 6, which is the number for the Lovers card, which is about choice as much as it is about love. And clearly, according to this reading, you have choices to make, and lead with love. You know, love for your family. You know, what do you want your family to look like? You know, how do you want to be able to show up? And of course, in connection to your career, because what you choose to do, how you choose to do career, is going to impact on your plans for your family. As it stands now and moving forward, the family you want in the future, the picture you want, the vision you have for your family in the future. So, okay, Spirit wants me to stop a moment and just, oh Lord, consider that. He's like, can you show him your face, please? And I'm like, oh Lord, do we have to talk about this? Like, he wants me to reflect on this, and he wants me to share what I've been thinking about today. It was the 10th of August. It's now gone midnight here, so it's the 11th, but it's been the 10th of August here. And in tarot, that connects to the Wheel of Fortune, which is all about, well, for me today, it was all about possibilities. And I really felt the impetus to look at what are the possibilities for my life? Like, what are the things that in me that I truly want? One of them was, okay, I was going to say, one of mine is to be a Victoria's Secret angel, okay? Don't laugh, please. But yeah, when it came to sitting down to actually write these things down, here's what I found was number one. It was actually family. And I have this vision, and oh Lord, basically it's a family of 10 children. I kid you not, 10 children. And here's the backstory. When I was young, like I'm not even sure how old I was. Maybe I was like Josh's age. Spirit saying a bit older. And my mum recalls that I declared that I would have 6 children, and that one of them would be called Simon, and he would wear glasses. Now, in about 2014, I think it was 2000. Yeah, it was 2014. I was actually, I don't even know how it began. But anyway, I woke up and I just found I had names come in, names for children. And in the end, there were like 6 names. I counted them. The first one was Isaac. There was also Benjamin. Oh Lord, I'm not sure about one of the other boys' names, but I decided there would be Aubrey, a girl, Brianna, a girl, Melody, a girl, and the other boy's name, I have no idea what the other boy's name was going to be. But God gave me a name actually 2 years ago from the Bible, which I can't remember right now. But 6 kids, but I also know there's a 7th, and obviously there's Joshua. you know, so in total, like I think I'm bringing like 7 kids, like that I will birth. Your 2, Silas and Phineas, and 1 that I believe we will adopt. So this is the vision, the family of 10 children, because we're called to be mother and father of creation. We're called to be a model, an example, a testimony of a spirit-led family and a spirit-led life. And I am an educator. As mother, I'm an educator. I'm a nurturer. I'm helping guide them on their way, to support them in the way. And ultimately, you and I are partners in this, So anyway, Spirit wanted me to share that, and, the vision, the family of 10 children. And 10, as you know, or should know, is the number of completion. It's like a perfect number. I know they say number 12 is like the perfect number, I think, but for me, 10 has very significant meaning, as in terms of completion. So, I share this, my feeling in sharing it at least is get real about your vision for your family, for your future family, for the family you always dreamed you would one day have, that vibe, that connection, that environment, that atmosphere. I found myself, I was thinking about the family of the 10 children earlier today and thinking, we'd be our very own Waltons. I used to watch the Waltons and be like, good night, Mary Ellen, or good night, Sue Ellen, and all those different names. I don't know them. And also the Brady Bunch, right? I remember that. I was quite mesmerized by them. I was quite taken, kind of like, wow, all those people. So foreign to me. I grew up mostly an only child. I have a brother. My sisters, we share the same father. But yeah, I just was so singular. So to see these families that had so many children and individuals in them, it was kind of a phenomenon. Like, okay. Actually, I'm doing the wrong face. Like, oh, okay. Oh. So embrace family, the abundance of family, what you find abundance in. For me, it's totally connection. Anyway, back to the cards, and Spirit saying I can leave them like this. I'll shuffle these. Knocking that energy out from my reading. And this is about cleansing out. This is about, I'm going to turn this around, because we can talk about moonstone as a stone, potentially for clarity, warding off, oh my gosh, warding off negative energies. There's so many cards here. Oh, I don't know. Do I want to take all of this? I don't. I'm sorry. I don't want to take all of these cards. I'm going to put them back. We could talk about it warding off negative energies, but I want to put it in the positive. What does Justin need to know to ward off negative energies concerning his career, and with the liquid light, selenium, to bring the light to his situation? Okay, I want to start with the back of the deck. That's quite, like, what? Ten of Swords is all about, it's a 10, it's completion, and it's the end. It's the end. It's the end of your career as you know it. It is the end, but and it's all dark and all that, but on the horizon, that blackness, that darkness is dissipating to give way to the light of a new day, a warm, sunny, summery day. We see this card on, we see this color, sorry, on cards like the Nine of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, the Page of Pentacles, the Empress. It speaks of abundance. So there's going to be a darkness, basically, as things come to a completion, but it's only to make way for a new beginning, only to make way for a brighter, warmer, sunnier day as you step out into doing something new, which is what Spirit is highlighting here as you reevaluate and reassess your career and ultimately the connection to family and and your role as father of creation, because yes, you're a singer, you're an actor and everything else you do, but what is the most important thing? You know, I'm sure we can both agree it's being father. You know, who you are, what impact you make on the children you father, not just physically, them being born of you, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Yeah. So that's to bear in mind. And Spirit wants me to pick one from the top. The Hierophant. That is so interesting because we already had the Hierophant through the Generosity card at the back, and now the Hierophant is making an appearance. And you know, 5 represents, you know, number 5 in numerology represents change, challenge, conflict, tension. I like the C words: change, challenge, conflict. Ultimately, to me, it's the change card. Number 5 to me is so very much the change card, a call for change. But the key thing here is what kind of a change. And for me, what comes to mind with this card is the crossed keys at the bottom there, which relate to, I think it's something that's said concerning St. Peter. And it's basically in the vein of what you bind on heaven, what is bound in heaven will be bound on earth. What's loosed in heaven will be loosed on earth. And to me, that very much speaks the same thing of as above, so below. That alignment, divine alignment. And it's funny, I wanted to talk about divine order earlier. I think it was in connection to the Generosity and the Hierophant. Yeah, because the Hierophant speaks to me, being a religious figure, you know, we can bring faith into this, we can bring in traditions, we can bring religion. Not that anyone's trying to get religious up in here, but it's about that divinity, that divine aspect, and the consideration of divine knowledge and definitely divine order. So those crossed keys are what's in question, rather is what's in focus for me. So as above, so below. What is loosed in heaven must be loosed in earth. What do you discern heaven, you know, what is it that you can discern that heaven would have you do with your career, with your life? And that will take brutal honesty and just checking in and just being real about what you know, what you sense, what you feel, what's been revealed to you, but maybe you've been questioning. And don't expect it to be linear in its thinking and how it can come to be, because remember this card, you know, you're going to have to see things differently. And that could be in terms of your priorities, because family is clearly a big role, and not just family in the here and now. This is about building for the future, because you're starting anew. Where's that card? You're starting again. Something is completing. You're closing out your career as it stands. You're closing it out to start again. So you can't look just to the here and now. It's not about that. It's about the new future. It's about the new day. It's about the new life. I know I'm about to start. It's a new day. It's a new life. You know, it's all of that. You need to look to the future. You're commanded to look to the future. You have to, because it's not about the now. So, Spirit, I think, wants me to say something else. He wants me to give my thoughts on all of this. And here's how I see it. I wasn't particularly thinking this prior to that moment, but here's how I see it. I'm called to use all my gifts, talents, and abilities to serve who I truly am, to serve my husband, to serve my children. You know, this is why my spirit, my soul wants to learn how to be a wife and a mother. We are opposites. We are counterparts. That's a better way to say it. We are two peas in the same pod. We're two halves of a whole. So it stands to reason, in my opinion, that your gifts, your talents, your abilities need to go towards serving. Oh, it's going to sound weird and egotistical, but anyway, I'm just flipping it. I just don't think like this. Okay, I've never had this thought. I'm literally just thinking it now. But yeah, you know, you need to look at using your gifts, talents, and abilities to serve your wife and your children, and not just right here, right now. Okay, it's about the future. So it's taking stock and keep it on family, right? Don't do what I did this morning, write down a whole bunch of things like being a Victoria's Secret angel. Not that that's on your list, but keep it to family. And what are your visions for family? Take it back to when you were 5. Take it back to when you were 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, and you were saying these kind of bizarre things about how many kids you wanted, or how you wanted to live in a ranch, or how you wanted to live in a castle, or whatever it was for you. Go back to that. You know, right now it doesn't matter whether what we're talking about matches up or not. I'm sharing rather, he's having me share to help you bring out what's truly in you, what you've always wanted but maybe felt you could never ask for, or felt was unreasonable, or felt, oh well, who does that in this day and age, right? Let go of that. See things from a different perspective. We're called to design our lives, and we're being given the context, you know, it's family. Spirit has asked me to turn over the card underneath. Beauty. What do you mean by that, Spirit? I mean, it seems quite obvious, right? Think in terms of beauty. I think, you know, it seems so simple, but this is something I keep getting told. Create a beautiful life. What is going to be beautiful? How can you shape your career where it's centered around family and beauty? You know, cultivating the most beautiful life you could dream of, you could wish for, you could hope for. You know, with your family, with you at the head. What can you create? How can you make it happen? So you are showing up for your family every day the way you truly and genuinely want to. Not trying to think about money, how am I going to make it, right? Money isn't the factor right now. The factor is, what is your priority? This is your priority. Family. And what the divine, what you know, is in you, that is in sync with what heaven wants. And it's you establishing, it's you considering, taking consideration of what can you do in your career? How can you work your career to honor these priorities, to create beauty in your life, in your world? because it's available for you in abundance. And that's where he wants me to close out the reading. Much love.